But first, there's a new feature that we decided to put on the USA Takedown.com website, and it's a logo called WrestlingTournaments.com. And here to talk about wrestling tournaments is the founder, Jason Layton. Jason, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about wrestling tournaments, what it is, then we're going to get into why it is. Go for it.
Sure. So we are a 21st century solution to organizing wrestling competitions. And there's a lot of different types of wrestling competitions that we do. And the main thing that we try to do is provide a really smooth experience for parents, coaches, and customers. We think it's important to get wrestlers in and out quickly in a timely fashion, as everybody cares about their time and no one likes waiting around. The other thing is we think it's really important that at the beginner level, we appropriately match beginners, so that way we can keep kids in the sport longer.
So really, wrestling tournaments is more than just wrestling tournaments. You've got an eye on the parents, the coaches, and especially the athletes. It seems to me at a wrestling event, athletes are sitting around, laying around, waiting to compete. But in fact, if you manage the time more effectively, not the athletes, the coaches, the fans will all be that much better off, right?
All right, definitely.
All right, so it's about efficiency, and you're right. You currently have many thousands of athletes on the platform. How old is the platform, and what's your ultimate goal?
So we've been doing wrestling events for close to 6 years now, but in the past year, our speed of development has 10x. So we're moving really fast, and we're building a lot of new features for our customers quickly. The ultimate goal is to have a pervasive rating system for every athlete in the country. What I want is to be able to take any two wrestlers and know how appropriate they are as a matchup for one another. So that way at youth events, we can easily pair the kids. At high school events, we kind of know what the good matchups are going to be. And this will also provide a way for college coaches to help with their recruiting.
Is this sort of like a rating type system?
Well, there is a rating system, which is kind of the foundation of it, but we've built a lot of different technologies around that. Our core rating system is called the weight-adjusted rating system, and what makes it unique is it's a rating system like they have in a lot of other sports, but it takes weight into consideration, and weight plays a big part of a wrestling match. As people get larger, they kind of get better in a way, so it kind of tracks the weight of wrestlers throughout their careers, and their rating adjusts as their weight adjusts.
How do you keep track of it all?
We keep track of every match. So when a wrestler first signs up on the platform, they fill out a little survey, and we give them an initial rating, and it's just a guess based on how good the parent or coach said that their child was. But once they start competing, their rating updates based on whether they win or lose, depending upon the rating of the athlete that they competed against. And the ratings get really accurate really quickly. Most wrestlers are accurately rated within 2 to 3 matches. And then we can use that to just pair them up in additional matches and know that they're going to be safe, fun, and competitive matches for both athletes.
I find it interesting. A few of the features on WrestlingTournaments.com, you can find a tournament anywhere in the country. You can host a tournament, okay, and you can manage a league. Tell everybody about hosting a tournament.
So almost everything on our platform happens automatically. What that means is we've done a lot of work to make it simple for a tournament director. We can pretty much teach you everything that there is about the event in 20 to 25 minutes.
Wow.
And then you'll kind of just sit back and let it run itself. You don't need to really understand any complexity because we've kind of moved that all out. That's all happening behind the scenes. Everything is really automatic. You fill out a simple survey. Your registration will be open in less than 10 minutes. And then the event will run itself. The only thing that a tournament director needs to do is manage his staff, who will be entering weigh-ins and entering the results of matches.
Jeff, I can't find anything wrong with this. I think it's all positive. You agree?
Oh, it's all positive.
Yeah.
I think they've taken a look at where some of the biggest pitfalls are in some of the other systems that are out there, and try to correct upon those, which is just how life works.
When you think about it, from having hosted and organized tournaments at a club level in college, you spend a lot of time trying to figure out bracket sheets and make sure this guy gets moved here and there. And so when a lot of that stuff is done, if all you got to do is focus on getting match results entered and everything else is going to populate for you, you make the job a lot easier on tournament day.
David Miricatani, you've got an event coming up, the Hall of Fame Duels in Stillwater, Oklahoma, December 21 and 22. How would you see, and you've been in coaching and around coaching your entire life, okay?
Yeah, my favorite picture is me sitting next to my dad's foot when I'm 6 years old.
That's my favorite picture of you guys, too.
Yeah.
But it's things like this that will allow our sport to progress. Would you agree?
All this stuff is evolutionary, like the thing Justin Tritz did with Crate and Track Wrestling, with scales that automatically populate all the data so you don't have to do that stuff. Coaches are forced to multitask in so many different ways, and anything that you can do to make the sport more fair, more equitable, and easier to manage is a huge win.
Well, we talked about hosting a tournament. You can also manage a league. Describe for our listeners what you mean by that.
So, in a wrestling league, you're probably dealing with several teams, several different events at several different locations. Then at each event in each location, there are different logistical challenges, especially when it comes to pairing the athletes. To pair athletes at this type of event, typically we use our Warzone platform, which just allows us to pair individual matches on the fly. So in most leagues across the country, they have pairing meetings to figure out who's going to wrestle who at an event. Because of the way our rating system works and the methodology behind it, everything can happen live, and it just does everything automatically. So a league can open up their league, can, mass import all of the data, and it'll kind of handle everything for the entire season. And we can get people in and out at league events really quickly. What I mean by that is you can show up and know your exact starting and ending time. Maybe you're there for an hour. You'll get your 2 to 3 fair matches, and then you can go on your way. And that's the Warzone platform. The other type of event that we do, which is our bracketed events, that makes more sense for an end-of-the-year finale where we can use the ratings to seed kids if that's what the league wants to do. But that is our most exciting piece of technology, I believe. The way that we've handled the logistics at a bracketed event ensures that you're only there for the time you need to be there. You're going to weigh in, wrestle immediately after your weigh-in, and then kind of have a match every 25 to 30 minutes until you're done. And we can control the amount of rest time between matches.
So I think it interesting that you've put a finer point on having athletes evenly matched. That makes it more fun. Combat sports can be a lot of fun. We prove that out day in, day out. But it's also very exciting when athletes are appropriately matched for size, for skill level results. How are your ratings determined?
Based on the result of every match and the weight of the athlete. So there are really 2 ways that ratings change, and that's based on when you win or lose against the rating of the other person. It will, if you beat somebody that's higher rated than you, you're going to gain more points than if you beat someone who's lower rated than you. Also, if you weigh in and were heavier than you were last time, you're going to gain some points.
If you say that again, if you weigh in and you were heavier than last time, you're going to gain points?
Correct. Because imagine I'm 100 pounds, and then a few months later I'm 110 pounds. Well, you can imagine that I've probably gotten better because size matters in wrestling.
Right.
If the 110-pound me wrestled the 100-pound me, we would expect the 110-pound me to win.
Okay, that makes a little more sense. Now, manual adjustments are allowed, right? Yeah?
We can do it. We rarely have to. The rating system pretty much becomes accurate within 2 to 3 matches, but sometimes you got a kid who is misplaced in the beginning, or for some reason or another, it's going to take a while for their rating to become accurate, and then we can just manually change them. That normally is only the case for a child who is either very large, very young, or very small and very old.
Okay. How much does it cost to be on the platform and be actively using it?
So for a coach to run a tournament, we charge $100 plus $1 per competitor. And for the competitors, it's either $3, $5, $10, or $20, depending on how long they're signing up with us for. The coach gets to charge whatever price he wants for registration for the tournament. We'll collect all the registration for them and handle all the payment processing, and then provide them with a check afterwards. We just recently broke $1 million fundraised for wrestling programs.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So it looks like you are pretty much northeast and northern centric. I mean, I'm looking at the website now, and I see a couple things in the UP and something down in Georgia, and then across central Michigan. But then the rest of it seems like it's in the New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island area. What are your expansion plans? Are you I mean, is this
So what we need is we need to connect with strong wrestling leaders in different communities that can bring the bodies. We can handle the logistics of the tournament for you and make sure that your customers get a great experience, but we're not going to try to come to a region where we're not welcome. I don't want to run tournaments. I want to provide a solution for tournament organizers.
Right.
We do have a league in Washington that will be starting next week, so you will start seeing a bunch of events up there. But there's a lot of areas in the South and in the Midwest that we can't wait to get to. So if you're the type of person that has a wrestling following out there and you need help with organizations, please reach out to us.
Our guest has been Jason Layton, founder of WrestlingTournaments.com. Again, WrestlingTournaments.com. No matter where you are listening in the country, you need to get online and check it out. You can find their logo on the front page of USATakedown.com, or you can go direct to WrestlingTournaments.com. Jason, fascinating conversation. I think what you guys have done, you and your team have put together something that can be very beneficial to our sport. I congratulate you and thank you.
Appreciate your time, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Jason Layton to the showers, founder of WrestlingTournaments.com.